It's an honor to be here with the first Jewish president of the United States.
A date 300 years ago, he said Gematria, the numerology of his name, actually means Messiah, and something could happen overnight that could lead to the reconstruction of the temple.
The Temple Mount is in our hands. We are in Jerusalem, and we are here to stay.
3 weeks ago, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu held a private meeting that wasn't on any official schedule. The attendees? Leaders from the Temple Institute, architects, rabbinical authorities, and representatives from a Texas cattle ranch. No press release, no public announcement, just a closed-door conversation about something that could trigger the biggest geopolitical crisis in modern history, or fulfill the most anticipated prophecy in human history, depending on who you ask. What they discussed in that room hasn't been fully disclosed, but within 48 hours, security was quietly increased around the Temple Mount. Construction permits were filed with the Jerusalem municipality.
Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more awe-inspiring stories of faith, survival, and miracles.
And 5 red heifers were moved to a secure location near Shiloh. The countdown may have just accelerated. And what's happening right now in Jerusalem, Washington, and across the Middle East suggests we're watching prophecy unfold in real time. Let me show you what I mean. Benjamin Netanyahu is facing the most pressure he's ever faced in his political career. His coalition depends on religious parties, parties that have one non-negotiable demand: access to the Temple Mount. And not just access, action. In March 2025, Netanyahu made a statement that shocked international observers but barely made headlines in Western media. He told a group of religious leaders that Israel's future includes reclaiming our spiritual heritage in full. Diplomatic language, vague enough for plausible deniability, but everyone in that room knew exactly what he meant: the temple. Here's what makes this different from every other Israeli leader's careful dance around the temple issue. Netanyahu's coalition literally cannot survive without the support of parties like Religious Zionism and Otzma Yehudit. These aren't fringe groups anymore. They hold cabinet positions, they control budgets, they have unprecedented influence. And their primary agenda isn't settlements, it isn't security policy, it's the Temple Mount. For the first time in Israel's history, the political survival of the prime minister is directly tied to temple activism. That changes everything. Because when political necessity aligns with religious conviction, the impossible starts becoming inevitable. But Netanyahu isn't working alone. When Trump moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem in 2018, the world called it symbolic. When he recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, analysts called it strategic. When he brokered the Abraham Accords, they called it historic. But what if all of it was preparation? Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law and architect of Middle East policy, has maintained unusually close relationships with Saudi Arabia and the UAE even after leaving office. His investment firm has raised billions from Saudi Arabia and the UAE. That's not retirement, that's positioning. In February 2025, Kushner made a private trip to Jerusalem. Official reason? Real estate investments. Except he didn't meet with developers. He met with the same people Netanyahu met with: Temple Institute leadership, members of the nascent Sanhedrin, and quietly, representatives from the Jordanian government. Why Jordan?
Because Jordan officially controls the Islamic Waqf, the authority that manages the Temple Mount's Islamic sites. Any deal that allows Jewish construction on the Mount has to go through them. And Kushner specializes in deals everyone says are impossible. Trump has publicly stated that his second term will bring the ultimate deal in the Middle East. He's been vague about details, but people close to the administration have quietly suggested it involves something unprecedented. Something that would secure Trump's legacy as the leader who achieved what no one else could. The pieces are moving. The question is where they're moving to. Here's something most people don't understand about the red heifer. Without it, there is no temple service, period. The ashes of a perfect red heifer are required to purify priests for temple duties. No ashes, no purification.
They're already in the process of doing the practice, and they are going to do the ceremony of the red heifer, and that is going to bring in the third temple, and that
No purification, no priests. No priests, no sacrifices. The entire system stops without this one element. That's why what happened in September 2022 mattered so much. 5 red heifers were transported from Texas to Israel, the first time in modern history that qualified candidates existed on Israeli soil. By August 2024, all 5 were disqualified. Too many non-red hairs. The prophecy watchers who'd been holding their breath exhaled in disappointment. But then something changed. In November 2024, the Temple Institute announced that 4 additional candidates are being raised at an undisclosed location. These heifers are younger, more carefully monitored, inspected weekly by rabbinical authorities. And here's the timeline that has everyone's attention. A red heifer must be at least 3 years old to be used in the purification ceremony. The current candidates reach that age in spring 2026. Spring 2026, less than a year from now. The Temple Institute has already conducted practice ceremonies. Priests have been trained in the exact procedures. The location for the actual burning has been prepared near the Mount of Olives. Everything is ready. They're just waiting for the heifer to come of age. While the world focuses on wars and elections, something remarkable has been happening in Jerusalem. The Temple Institute hasn't just been waiting, they've been building. A complete golden menorah was finished in 2023. Pure gold, 7 branches, exactly to biblical specifications. It weighs over 100 pounds and cost over $3 million. 70 priestly garments have been woven, not replicas, actual ritual garments made with the exact materials and methods described in Exodus. The high priest's breastplate is complete, 12 stones, each representing a tribe of Israel. Silver trumpets, golden vessels, incense shovels, everything described in Torah for temple service. And the blueprints? They're not theoretical anymore. Full architectural plans have been filed with the Jerusalem municipality, plans that incorporate modern building codes while maintaining biblical requirements. The Temple Institute's director stated in January 2025 that if they received approval today, construction could be completed in 3.5 years. Not decades, not generations. 3.5 years. That's a specific number, almost like they've calculated it down to the month, which raises an obvious question. Where exactly would they build it? This is the obstacle everyone points to. The Dome of the Rock, Islam's third holiest site, standing right where the Jewish temple needs to be, or does it? Recent archaeological surveys using ground-penetrating radar have revealed something interesting.
The foundation of the Second Temple may not be directly under the Dome of the Rock. Some evidence suggests it was located about 100 meters north, right where there's currently open space on the Temple Mount platform. If that's true, a Jewish temple could theoretically be built without touching the Islamic structures. Coexistence instead of replacement. Sound impossible? It would require an unprecedented diplomatic agreement, the kind of agreement that would take a master negotiator, someone with relationships across the Arab world, someone with credibility in Israel, someone like Jared Kushner. But there's another scenario people are whispering about, one that doesn't require diplomacy at all. Jerusalem sits on one of the most active fault lines in the Middle East, the Syrian-African Rift. In 1927, a major earthquake struck Jerusalem, causing significant damage throughout the city. Seismologists have warned for years that another major quake is overdue. The Dome of the Rock, despite its beauty, is over 1,300 years old. It survived earthquakes before, but each one weakens the structure. What if the next earthquake is different? Zechariah 14 describes a future earthquake so powerful it splits the Mount of Olives in two. If God can split a mountain, what would that earthquake do to a 1,300-year-old dome? I'm not predicting anything. I'm just pointing out that natural disaster could accomplish overnight what diplomacy couldn't achieve in decades. And Jerusalem is overdue. Here's what makes this moment different from any other time in the last 2,000 years. Every element is converging simultaneously.
red heifers in Israel for the first time, reaching maturity in 2026. All temple implements completed and ready. Priests trained in temple procedures. Political leadership in Israel dependent on religious parties. A U.S. administration friendly to unprecedented Israeli actions. A master negotiator with Arab world relationships working behind the scenes. Archaeological evidence suggesting shared space is possible, and a geological fault line overdue for major activity. Any one of these alone would be interesting. All of them happening at once? That's not coincidence. For 2,000 years, the temple has been impossible. Today, it's becoming inevitable. The prophet Daniel was told to seal up the vision, for it pertains to many days in the future. What if we're watching that seal break open? What if the many days are now? Scripture is clear about one thing. There will be a third temple. 2 Thessalonians describes the Antichrist sitting in the temple of God, proclaiming himself to be God. That requires a physical temple, a building, a place where sacrifices are happening. Daniel 9 describes a covenant confirmed for 7 years. In the middle of that period, sacrifices are stopped, which means sacrifices must first be started, which requires a functioning temple. The question has never been if, the question has always been when and how. And for the first time in 2 millennia, we can see plausible answers to both questions. Spring 2026 for the red heifer, 3.5 years for construction, that puts completion around fall 2029 or early 2030, right when other prophetic timelines seem to be accelerating. The convergence isn't random, it's orchestrated. Everything we've looked at, the Netanyahu coalition pressures, the Trump-Kushner diplomacy, the red heifer timeline, the temple preparations, the archaeological discoveries, they're all moving in one direction, toward a moment that seemed impossible just 5 years ago. The third temple isn't a distant dream anymore. It's an approaching reality, and whether it happens through earthquake, through war, through diplomatic breakthrough, or some combination we haven't anticipated, it's coming. The countdown has begun. The only question is whether we're watching closely enough to recognize the signs. I want to hear from you. What do you think is the most likely scenario for how the temple gets built? Earthquake? Diplomatic deal? Something else? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to understand what comes after the temple is built, what role it plays in the final 7 years, check out the video I'm putting on screen right now. Because the temple's construction isn't the end of the story, it's just the beginning.